So, yet another season of Game of Thrones has passed us, and holy shit, this might be the best one they've ever made. Thank you, Game of Thrones. Thank you for 10 hours of awesome television.
What the fuck?
What is up, guys? Nathan from Psycho Culture here with a special Season 6 Game of Thrones review because, my god, does it deserve one, because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fanatic. I love Game of Thrones. It's one of the greatest things ever made. Thank you, George R. R. Martin. And it is high time I spoke about Game of Thrones. So, what's there not to say about Game of Thrones that has not been said? One of the greatest TV shows ever made, period. No dispute. It's just has so much character, so much plot, so much just amazingness to it. This show has come a very long way in the 6 seasons that it has. And this season, by far, I think, in my personal opinion, is the best one, because never before in any Game of Thrones season, I recall, because I've seen all the Game of Thrones episodes over and over again, all 5 seasons prior, and I have never remembered having a grander time, because I guess you could say it's been climbing, but it's like the wait for so much has paid off. We've seen Jon Snow go from lowly bastard to brother of the Night's Watch, to Lord Commander, to the King in the North. By the way, spoilers, full-blown spoilers ahead. We've seen Tyrion Lannister go from being the imp, the dwarf of House Lannister, to the Hand of the King, Master of Coin in the worst position possible, outcast and refugee, now Queen, Hand of the Queen, to Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen. We've seen Daenerys Targaryen, this meager little girl, timid, go from that to this conqueror, to Aegon the Conqueror, the Second Coming. We've seen so many characters advance in so many different ways that we never would have thought, wow, I can't believe they went through that, because George R. R. Martin has gone against the convention that is expected. He is unpredictable, and that's what I love. Characters that I at first hated, that I thought, my god, they're just such gigantic dicks, I went to saying, wow, this guy is actually tormented. He is in here, and in here, there's always just this torment inside him. So I'm going to be talking about Game of Thrones. This is going to be a long-ass video, so please bear with me, guys. This is a fan going fucking ape shit. This season is by far one of the best, because so much plot and action and important events were happening at all times. There was never a dull episode. Maybe some episode had some dull moments, but there was never an episode where I was like, oh my god, I'm bored, this episode really didn't do much for me, had a few surprises, but nothing serious. No, from the first episode all the way up to the last, this season has been non-stop in motion, in flow, in everything. I absolutely adored what they have done with this show. It is amazing. Let's start off with my favorite character. I think he is my favorite character because I always go back to him the most. Jon Snow. Jon Snow, in Season 5, Episode 10, the last season, he got killed. Like, he got stabbed to death. And then, Melisandre, or Melisandre, I don't know how to pronounce her fucking name sometimes, she brings him back with the power of the Lord of Light, or whatever she did. And from there, we get Jon Snow. He doesn't want to be a part of the Night's Watch anymore. Of course, his watch has ended. He died. And he was betrayed by men he called his brothers. Even if he hated them, he was like, these guys are my brothers. These guys, as much as I despise them, I know for a fact that we are in this together. We are the Watchers on the Wall. He wants nothing to do with that anymore. So, he chooses to leave. And then, God, I'm going to have a really hard time talking about this. I really think this calls for like an hour, maybe more of discussion. I should have reviewed each episode by day, because that would have been much better. But Jon Snow really went through a lot in this season. Like, oh my god, he went from being the bastard of Winterfell, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Now he, in the end, is the King in the North. Jon Snow has gone around from house to house of the North, hoping, asking, please, fight for House Stark once again. We need to take back the North because there is a bigger threat. There is a bigger threat happening. And that's where, I always love excuse me, sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. That's why I will always love the North storyline more than any storyline in general. Because whilst the King's Landing, the Reverend, the Storlands, Dorne, they all have their crazy cool stories going on, it's just that after seeing what is going on in the north, after seeing the fucking White Walkers of Hardhome, especially Hardhome, like, I'm thinking to myself, why does it matter who rules? Because it's like Jon Snow's raids. Like, it doesn't matter who rules Westeros. It doesn't matter if you're a Lannister, a Baratheon, or a Targaryen. The long night, it's coming. The White Walkers are bringing the long night. The war for the dawn is coming soon. And that's what I love about the North. It's just like, because the North, it has like no bullshit. They're like, yo, like, the Starks have to take back the North because the Starks are the reason, you know, the Wall is there, Winterfell is there, the reason why the North is united. And the Starks know that winter is coming isn't just a slogan of warning of, like, the weather is on the way or another war. They're also another slogan of there is something always much worse coming. And the Night's Watch can no longer hold that position. It's going to be up to the entire North, no, all of Westeros, if they want to defeat the White Walkers. Because I'm going to refute this a lot. After seeing that, it's like nothing else matters to me. Nothing else matters. All I care about is what goes on in the north of Westeros. Because I love the winter, and I've always identified myself as one of the people of the North. I would, if I was a member of House Stark, I'd be like, booyah, House Stark, fuck everybody. And that's where we also jump to another great, awesome character that a lot of people love, but I find extremely boring. Sorry guys, I find Daenerys Targaryen really fucking boring in my personal opinion. Because for the past few seasons, after she got the dragons, in my honest opinion, the problem with Daenerys is not her character, it's her plot in general. She wants to be, you know, queen of Westeros. She wants to be the ruler. And, like, for the 6th season, she kept talking about that. And now that she's finally doing it in this season, at the very fucking end, most of the time I was like, I did not find her interesting. I did not find her engaging. Because her problems, her issues that she had to deal with, they got resolved too quickly, in my opinion. They got resolved way too easy. Like, boom, that's it. I have an army, I have this, that. Like, I understand that perhaps, no, not perhaps. Daenerys Targaryen is a natural, like, she's a charismatic leader. She has a natural finesse where they're just like, I want to follow her. But in my personal opinion, I just find that her story is just not interesting because she has her resolutions so quickly, so instantly. Like, long term, it's like, yes, her biggest goal was always, get to the fucking Westeros to get the Iron Throne. But in general, I did not find her interesting. Even in this, I didn't find her interesting. I was like, whatever, Dragon Queen, I really just do not give a shit about you. I'm sorry, I like, as a critic, I applaud and love Daenerys' character, the things she has gone through. But as a fan, I just don't find her interesting. That's why I find Jon Snow and the North so interesting, is because their problems are never fully resolved. They make one problem, there's a couple more that come with it. That's why I relate to Jon Snow more, because he is constantly having to face adversity, constantly having to face a problem, issue that he believes that I have to be the one. Not because it's like some it's like his honor. It's like telling him, you've got to do the right thing. You've got to keep fighting, even if it's wrong, even if it's this, even if people are against you. You got to believe. And that's what I find the North and Jon Snow much more compelling than Daenerys Targaryen. Targaryen's just like, oh, like, burn through all my problems. Dragons will fix everything. I got an army, got ships. Time to go to Westeros. But Jon is like, yo, I am constantly fighting. He was luckier than most bastards, but ever since joining the Night's Watch, he has just been fighting, and fighting. He has just been going through shit, hell and high water. It's just what he's gone through. And that's why I always like Jon Snow, always. But then we also got our boy Tyrion. Tyrion has had, this is probably, like, aside from season 4, this was one of his best seasons ever, because he had so many awesome moments, witty moments, really funny moments. Him being Tyrion Lannister, the drinking games he had with Graham Woods and Melisandre, or whatever, however pronounced Melisandre, Melisandre. He was hysterical. I really want to see more back and forth between him and Varys. I mean, with Varys, another spoiler warning, at the end of season 6, the last episode of season 6, it kind of confirmed this long-standing theory that's been going around in the books, that Varys is working with Dorne to reinstate the Targaryen dynasty, because he believes that well, he's not technically supporting Daenerys because there's another character in the books that they never introduced, so I really don't care. But it kind of proves the theory that Varys and Dorne are working together to reinstate the Targaryen dynasty, which is ironic because in the books the Targaryens never beat the Martells. The Dorne was actually the only kingdom of Westeros that repelled the Aegon's invasion. But that's here or there. That's some other. That's a discussion for another time. But in general, this season also had some awesome returns. Let's also go to the awesome returns. We had 2 power returns that I thought we'd never see again. Benjen Stark has not been seen since season 1, episode 4. That's how long he's been gone. He's been gone for 5 fucking seasons. He comes back, and I really honestly was hoping he'd tell us more. I think he was kind of a plot device, really. He's basically Cold Hands from... he's the new Cold Hands from the books. But I do say this. I really wanted to see more of Ben. I actually wanted to have him show like a flashback of just like what he's been doing exactly. I really wish he would have been like, oh, I've been busy countering the White Walkers, countering the Night's King every way I can, and I really hope to see him again in the war to come. Another big comeback was God, I'm kind of brain dead because this season was amazing. We have the return of our good old buddy Sandor the Hound Clegane. It's so good to see him again, and I was actually hoping he'd go for the Gravedigger thing that they had in the books, but because that's a theory. But you know what? I really don't care. Like, this Hound is back. I would love it if he just runs into Arya and he just smacks her and he says, "I've missed you." Like, that'd be hilarious. And in general, there was a lot of this was a season of returns, yo. What's it called? The Brotherhood Without Banners, they're back, and they said, and the way Beric or Dondarrion, I forgot how to pronounce his name. It's really hard. And Thoros of Myr, they both are clearly aware of what the hell is going on in the north, because they said themselves like the war. There's still a war in the north. Like something is coming from the north. We've got to go up there. So you know there that is. But this season wasn't without its deaths. The season 10 finale, oh my god, yo. We lost the entire Tyrell family, save for Olenna. We lost Marjorie, Loras, Kevon Lannister, and Mace Tyrell, and all the High Sparrows and the Sept. Dude, they, like, oh my god. Cersei's becoming a new Mad King, yo. She's becoming the Mad Queen. And just seeing that is just insane. But nothing tops this year's death more so than the death of Hodor. It's so interesting that we have all these giant characters: Jon Snow, Daenerys, Ned Stark, Renly Baratheon, Stannis Baratheon, Tywin Lannister. And most of these characters have died. But Hodor's death was one of the few deaths in all of... I think this is the only death in Game of Thrones where it was so sad, but it was heroically sad. It was tragically heroic, because his death was just... that was just a death I never would have expected. And the way I always thought, like, maybe, you know, some minor character we love would die, but the way Hodor died, the way he just held back the army of the dead while allowing Mira and Bran to get away, that was just so insanely sad, touching, beautiful. I just wanted to cry seeing him die. Like, there was this one part where, like, he just cries out while holding back the door, and my god, I don't know what they're gonna do to top that death, because we've seen the Red Wedding, we've seen Tywin die, we've seen Ned die, we've seen Oberyn die, we've seen Renly, we've seen so many important characters die in crazy ways. But this death, like, how do you top that? Because I remember I saw, like, reaction videos. Like, people were, like in the Red Wedding, people were screaming. They're like, no, oh my god, what the fuck? In this one, I saw the reaction videos of Hodor's death. People were silently crying. They're like, holy fucking shit. No way. Like, they're just like, it's just... aside from shock value, the fact that most people were stunned silent after seeing that, it's like, how do you top that? This season is by far the best one, in my personal opinion. The amount of plot that happened, the amount of action that happened, it's just insane. And speaking of action, let's get to the ultimate war scene. I think it's up there with Saving Private Ryan. This war scene, episode 9, Battle of the Bastards. Oh my fucking god. I've seen war scenes. I've seen Saving Private Ryan. I've seen Black Hawk Down, Fury. I've seen Henry V or the 8th, I believe it was. I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. I've seen so many swords and sandal movies and war movies with guns, everything. This one right here, exhilarating. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my god. Oh, Jon Snow, no, oh shit. That was close. Jon Snow nearly died. This episode, I love the fact that Game of Thrones had, like, these episodes have all been very fucking fantastic. I think this season alone has had, like, the most universally acclaimed episodes, like, in the entire season. But to have Battle of the Bastards and the Winds of Winter be equal in terms of just Game of Thrones, just that kind of shit, they're equal episodes, truly shows that, yo, this show, it is headed for something. I really hope it's not headed for something glorious. But again, we're talking about Game of Thrones here. Expect the unexpected. So, you know, it might not end the way you think it might end. So, who knows what's going to happen. But that episode, Battle of the Bastards, the highest rated episode on IMDb. And IMDb is a bit of a stickler, as I've seen. But the fact that they've said, like, yo, this is one of the greatest episodes ever made. Period. And I do not disagree with them. If anybody thinks that, oh, this episode sucked, I really don't know, like, what does it take to impress you? Because that battle was one of the craziest I've ever seen. They spent $10 million on that one episode. That one! It's like, I don't know how many, how much money they use for each episode, but that one is a season in and of itself. That's how amazing it is. But regardless, I absolutely love Battle of the Bastards. Oh, man, there's so much. I just can't cover it all, yo. I really wish I had my friends with me to talk about this. Maybe I will. But it's so crazy seeing how far this show has come, how far these characters have come, how much they have endured, how much the hardships that they had to go through. And to see it all just it's culminating. I don't know how many episodes the next season is gonna have. I heard it was like 7 or 8, which, please no, stick with the 10 format. Honest to God, because I hope one day in the future I can have just like a binge session where I watch Game of Thrones season 1 to 7 for like 72 hours worth of content, because because in total it would take about, if you watch it consecutively, 3 days to watch all 6 seasons. But regardless, guys, this season, please fucking start watching Game of Thrones. I don't care how long it'll take you to catch up. This show is well worth it because the characters, the lore, the action, the politics, just everything, the characters. This show is just spectacular. It's been climbing and building for quite a while, but boom, we have reached it. We are getting ready for the War of Westeros. Let's just call it that, the War of Westeros, because we're having the fucking long night coming in from the north. Daenerys is sailing in with her ships from the south or the east, so there's gonna be a lot. And oh, this is something I should have mentioned. It's so interesting. I'm not a feminist. I hate today's modern feminazis. They're so annoying as shit. But this show had a great underlying tone of feminism, especially this season. Because in the previous 5 seasons, we had the male-dominated houses, the male-dominated Westeros and kingdoms, all that stuff. We had Ned, Stannis, Tywin, Robert, all these like big guys who are like just, you know, noble men, or like men who are geniuses or smart or anything like that. But now they're all dying out, and we've given way to women taking over. Eliana Sand controls the Dorne. We have the Martells who still control High Garden, but Olenna Tyrell is now in charge of High Garden. We have Arya Stark, who's coming back. She killed him, and then she killed Walder Frey, which, by the way, that was probably the most gratifying death, right up there with Ramsay Bolton's death. And then we also have Cersei Lannister taking on the queen. She is now the queen of Westeros. We have Sansa making sure to secure the north for the new King of the North, Jon Snow, and just, wow, like, women are inheriting Westeros, are inheriting the world. But another thing, I'm not ending this video just yet. Another thing that I find interesting is, this is one of the funny moments I had. I remember I said this out loud with my friends when we were watching it. When, what's it called? Like, Jaime Lannister comes back from reclaiming Riverrun for House Frey. He comes back. It's so funny how he leaves and then Arya kills Walder Frey, immediately leaving a power vacuum, and he comes back to see the sept of Baelor just obliterated, destroyed. And he's like, literally, like, in his mind, I mean, me and my friends made just like, I leave for 5 minutes and this happens. And when he comes back and he sees Cersei on the Iron Throne, the way they look at each other, it wasn't like, oh my god, you're back, thank god. It's like, Jaime's looking at her, he's like, what? What did you do? What have you done? What did you do? You're asking me to kill not just the new queen, but my own kin, my own sister. Because in the books, Cersei Lannister, like what's happening now, her entire family's drifting away from her. Like, she's even losing Jaime. And Jaime, he's come back to this. There's a theory that's been going around that Jaime's going to have to repeat what he's done because Cersei has shown she's more than willing to burn cities now. She is basically saying a new Mad King, a Mad Queen, just blank and drunk on power. And he's thinking to himself, he's like, I don't want to go through that again. But I feel as though I have to. Jaime Lannister, holy shit, dude. I always thought he was just some smug bastard, but after that bathroom scene with Brienne, like, because not just in the show, but also in the books, just, you realize this guy is just carrying so much weight on his shoulders. Not only, like, he's carrying the pressure of Tywin Lannister on him, as well as how the entire Kingdom of Westeros views him. How they say, like, you're a kingslayer, you are a man without honor, and his entire life, in the back of his head, he's just like, no, you just don't understand what I've gone through. You don't know what the Mad King was doing. You don't know what he was saying, what he, the Mad King, was willing to do. Jaime Lannister, dude, you've really endured some shit, man. But there's also some really funny parts with Bronn the Blackwater, dude. Just like Tyrion, he's fucking hysterical. That's what I love about Bronn. Bronn's the kind of guy I'd love to be friends with. He's like, I don't give two shits what your title is, who you are. So long as you're not a dick to me, I don't give a fuck. I'm just, whatever. He's just awesome. But yeah, I think that's all for now, guys. Oh my god, 22 minutes. Holy shit. Just... this season, I cannot praise this enough. Game of Thrones, thank you so much for 6 seasons, especially this one, of one of the greatest shows on television of all time. Thank you. So guys, that's all for today. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good shit. And to all my comrades out there, to all my friends, to all my Game of Thrones fans, endure the pain, my friends, because that is what life is about. Later.